Hello. Hello. Sound check. Hello.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the webinar series on Co-Creating Solutions for Better Education Outcomes, or CREATE, brought to you by the Development Academy of the Philippines. I am Yami D from the DAP Center for Governance, and I will be your moderator for this webinar series. This webinar series aims to showcase applications of innovation tools for co-creating solutions to improve delivery of basic education services and to benchmark on collaborative and innovative concepts developed for academic institutions and organizations. Before we formally start, allow me first to reiterate some reminders and house rules during this webinar series. All sessions are being recorded for documentation purposes and broadcasted live at the DAP CFG.OMO YouTube channel. By joining this webinar, you automatically consent to such recordings. For attendance purposes of our participants, both here at the Google Meet and at our YouTube channel, kindly type in your name and agency at the chat box. Please put your microphone on mute to minimize background noises and to avoid disrupting the session. Questions during the session will be relayed using the chat box. Kindly type in your complete name and agency in the chat box along with your question. Your question shall be responded to during the open forum. For our participants at the Google Meet, we may request you to state your question directly to our speaker. If you are called, you may unmute yourself and open your camera for the interaction. Lastly, presentation materials of this session can be accessed at this Google Drive link flashed on your screen. Our chat monitors will also be posting this link. If you will experience difficulty in reading the presented material, you can download it now. Some emails, however, may require special permission on our part to access the files. Last November 25, we were joined by two distinguished individuals, Dr. Christopher and Dr. Maria Victoria Bernido, for our webinar session 1 on innovation thinking in classroom instruction, incorporating innovation in curriculum. The power couple introduced us to the Dynamic Learning Program of the Central Visayan Institute Foundation, which is a systems approach to process-induced learning. The program incorporates 21st century skills, namely critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, and communication. At this time of the pandemic, the Dynamic Learning Program proves more beneficial with its zero to minimal teacher intervention and no necessary parent tutoring. Overall, the Dynamic Learning Program addresses learner disposition with the engagement of students with habit-forming daily protocols and the absence of teachers, with learning activities being done independently by students 80% to 100% of the time. The latter helps bridge current obstacles of limited face-to-face learning and expensive internet connectivity. In today's session, we will look into and appreciate another innovation in the education sector, focused in designing and implementing school programs. Our resource speaker hails from San Roque, Northern Samar. He completed his bachelor's degree and master in education, major in administration and supervision at the Tiburcio Tansinco Memorial Institute of Science and Technology in Calbayog City. He had also attended and completed the academic requirements for a Doctor of Philosophy at the Pangasinan State University, Open University. Prior to his work at the Department of Education, Division of Northern Samar as an OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent in 2011, and subsequently as OIC Schools Division Superintendent in 2013, he worked as a special science teacher in national high schools in the province, and then as a vocational school administrator at the Basilio Chan Memorial Agricultural and Industrial School, also in Northern Samar. In 2015, he was stationed as a schools division superintendent at the DepEd division of Catbalogan City and as an OIC regional director at DepEd Regional Office 5, Legazpi City in 2019. At present, he is the OIC regional director at DepEd Region 7, Cebu City. During his years of service at the Department of Education, he has completed a number of successful programs and projects that merited him with the Gawad Career Executive Service Presidential Award in 2017. To discuss this afternoon on innovation thinking in school transformation, incorporating innovation in school programs and projects, we welcome Director Cristito Eco. Director Eco?
Yes, Ma'am Miriam.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Am I loud and clear?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, so thank you very much for that very generous introduction, ma'am. And of course, I would like to welcome the 80 participants right now joining us via Google Meet. And of course, I am very much elated with their presence despite the hectic schedule of our participants. I know they are also occupying very significant positions in their respective agencies and offices, but yet they really find time to be with us this afternoon. And hopefully, I'll be able to give justice to these people who are witnessing us right now or who are online that are willing to share also their very significant experiences as leaders and as public servants who are also forebearers of innovation in the department of where we belong and in your agencies where you belong. So, my dear participants, sit back, relax. We will be journeying this afternoon towards a destiny of how are we going to incorporate innovation in our school programs and projects, considering the current situation that we have brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. I am to share to you um, about the topic innovation thinking in school transformation, incorporating innovation in school programs and projects. Let me first present to you the webinar objective. At the end of this session, our participants are expected to explore innovation, a journey in designing and implementing school programs and projects. And the contents of our discussion this afternoon will focus on the following: thinking outside the box, ways to transform schools, the super school 4x4 approach, designing and implementing school programs and projects, and I will also be ushering you on the world best education innovation. And at the same time, I will be sharing to you our humble initiatives that we have implemented the past few years in my previous work assignment. Let me start our session this afternoon by sharing to you the popular idea of Steve Jobs. And according to him, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And I would like to ask each one of you to recall and recall the names of the photos appearing in your screen. You have here 4 personalities.
Director Ek, are you sharing your screen, sir, or should we go ahead and share your presentation?
Okay, sorry, ma'am. I'll share my screen. Okay na, ma'am.
Yes, sir, we can see that one.
Okay na, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sharing to you my slide with photos of 4 prestigious personalities in the world of business, of course. And I would like our participants to recall their names for familiarity. And I know you're all aware of the achievements of these people in terms of innovation, in terms of being an entrepreneur. We know for a fact that Jack Ma is popular for his Alibaba. Jack Ma is the former CEO of the biggest online store in the world. In fact, he's considered one of the powerful person right now, in the world, and in fact, in China, is very popular. Also, in the slide is Steve Jobs, popular for his breakthrough in the Apple industry. And of course, Bill Gates, the very prominent businessman, known to be the founder, developer of Microsoft. And of course, the pioneer for social media, Zuckerberg. In fact, is also considered one of the best entrepreneurs in the world. And these personalities, these people are our icon, or they are the icon in entrepreneurs, and they are called serial innovators. Our question is, how they emerge as icon, as entrepreneur, as serial innovators? Their secret is very simple. They have introduced innovation, but of course, innovation does not come naturally, or does not really come simply. There must be process. There must be a lot of stages, no, before they're able to develop and master and perfect their innovation. So before I usher you to the one of the strategies of innovating, which is thinking outside the box, I want you to get your paper or get a paper and a pencil or a marker with you, and do this simple exercise. This exercise is called thinking outside the box 9 dot challenge. Uh, you'll see in the screen or on the screen, uh, 9 dots. You have 9 dots. Your task is very simple. You just have to use 4 lines, connect all the 9 dots without lifting your marker for level one. Then after doing the level one, we want you to uh, proceed to level two. This time you will be using 3 lines. You'll connect all the 9 dots without lifting also your marker. So I'll give you a few seconds or a minute to perform the exercise. Okay, I hope some of you have completed the simple exercise, no? And I will flash on screen the possible answer for level one activity or level one task, and at the same time the level two task. So you will notice, by dear participants, the approach, the strategy, how we're able to connect the 9 dots using 4 lines. Likewise, for level two, by using only 3 lines, we are able to connect the 9 dots. What's the implication? What's the implication of this activity? It's very simple. No? Most of the time, we are confronted with some issues and concerns in our offices, even in our individual life. And sometimes the solution is not really that easy. But if you're able to uh, move backward, scrutinize, study this situation, you can even arrive at a solution that sometimes you are amazed because you'll find out it's almost impossible to solve, like what happened in our activity. That extending the line beyond the 9 dots really is one of the strategy on how to solve, on how to perform the task given to you. Meaning, it's simple. Issues and problems that are at hand should be treated uh, sometimes differently from the usual thing we do to a certain problem. Meaning we have to think really outside the box. So that exercise proves that solutions of a problem can be arrived at using various varied strategies. Okay, so what do we mean here by thinking outside the box? Well, literally, you just have to get out from your comfort zone. You have to get out from things that you're used to do. That's the simple definition of thinking outside the box. Also, when you speak of thinking about outside the box, it means thinking creatively, meaning we should have to exhaust, we should have to be creative find some other means and the ways and approaches on how we are going to solve or approach a certain situations or able to arrive at a certain solution or a certain decision. Thinking outside the box also means have to think freely, meaning there's no boundaries of what we want to think about a certain concern, about a certain thing that we want to do, about a certain goal that we want to achieve, about a certain objective that we want to reach. And of course, when you speak of thinking outside the box, it's actually uh, taking the path which is the unknown path, which means you'll have to really uh, imagine the impossible things and how to make impossible possible. That is thinking out of the box. It's the kind of thinking that garners significant attention, especially right now, no, with the fast changing landscape. We have the very fast uh, development brought about by technology. We cannot afford to still use the old approach in thinking of a solution or thinking of an intervention, no, to a certain problem. When we speak of thinking outside the box, it's also the kind of stuff that machines can do that well. Meaning, thinking outside the box cannot be performed by a computer, by a hybrid machine, by a high-tech equipment. It cannot be done by machine. It can only be done by human beings like us. It can only be done by the 80 plus participants in this webinar. Now, the next question is how to think outside the box. Coming up with creative solutions using the approach of thinking outside the box, we have to consider 6 parameters. The first is this is if you want to come up with creative solutions, meaning you have a concern, you have to address something, and you are thinking of a solution and a solution that is creative, then you'll have to make use to consider the 6 parameters. First here is change your space. Well, when we speak of changing our space, it simply means get out from where you are, from the place where you are accustomed to. Should have to get out from that place, meaning explore, hop, travel, no? So you're able to discover various possible solutions that will help you address the problem. Second is brainstorm. Well, this is the, uh, you'll do this with the team. You'll have to have at least, of course, a core team, no? Will be sitting down with you, discuss the issue, discuss the situation, discuss everything, and at the same time, uh, generate some uh, suggestions, solutions of the issues at hand. And this is meaning listening to others, giving others the opportunity to share what are their ideas, what are uh, their how they perceive the problem and how it will be solved. So meaning brainstorming should be conducted by a team, and therefore a core team, a strong team must be developed, must be established by any leader. Third is reconceptualize the problem. Well, uh, when you have a problem at hand, you should not look at the problem per se, but you should have to reconceptualize the problem. Meaning, the issue is there, But how about if there is another issue that will crop up with this particular problem? Okay, so meaning you have to anticipate other scenario, other possible situation, looking at a certain problem, because that problem might only be one of the uh, uh, symptoms, signs of a more critical issue or critical problem. Next is daydream. Well, uh, if we really want to create creative solutions, we should have to imagine. We should have to dream. We should have to, in fact, close our eyes and imagine things around us in relation to that particular concern for you to arrive for a certain creative solution. Set parameters, of course, so there will be um, limits of how of the extent, no, of the issue of the problem, because of course a certain issue or a certain problem emerge or emanates from a certain uh, cause. And so you have to set parameters. You have to define the parameters. So you'll not go beyond the the scope of the situation or the scope of the problem if you really want to create creative solutions. And the last one is, well, consider the worst case scenario. That is why in some planning approach we always make use of the why approach, no, because we really would like to dig deeper, no, and consider the worst case scenario. What if, okay, what if like this, no, like what we have encountered in in now during the pandemic, no, uh, in our offices we say, okay, we have to set up strong triage in the office, so we are able to screen, no, the the visitors, our clients and our employees, no. But there despite all the measure that we are uh, implementing, that we adopt, we have to always imagine or consider the worst case scenario. So these are the 6 parameters uh, of coming up with creative solutions, meaning a solution that is not usual, that is not copied from others, but it's really creative. It's something new. It's something unique. No, being creative. That is part of how are we going to think outside the box. Next is how to maintain our creativity, because sometimes human as we are, we tend to uh, backslide. Uh, we tend to sometimes relax after doing this and that, after implementing this and that, after determining a certain solution, implementing it, then sometimes we become complacent. So how are we going to maintain our creativity? We have 5 parameters. Of course, eliminate negativity. So there's no place, no, for innovators like us, like you. You should have to set aside negativity. Eliminate, no. There must be no negativity among us if we really would like to maintain creativity. Keep your creativity sharp, meaning keep harnessing it, no. Uh, Keep trying and never stop until we arrive at a certain creative solution, until we're able to solve a certain issue, until we're able to solve a certain problem. Okay? Change up your routine. Well, if you really would like to maintain creativity, then stop doing routine things. Change the routine. Okay, in some offices, for instance, we we reassign people. No, we reshuffle people. No, because this is what part of how to sustain creativity among our people. Sometimes we also rearrange our physical uh, um, our fixtures. We rearrange our furniture in the office because we want to avoid routine and a lot more. No, and doing it will help us maintain our creativity. Next is study another industry. Okay, I heard a lot, no, that they're not satisfied of having one skill, knowing one industry, one type of business. They also indulge in another type of business because knowing other industry will earn out a lot in terms of knowledge on a certain industry, in terms of issues and problems of encountered by these various industries that we encountered, no, that we benchmark, no, for that matter. And finally, it's about learn new things. Of course, if you want to maintain creativity, we must have always that desire of learning new things. Okay, so in no way, in no case that an innovator will stop thinking, learning new things. So it's a requirement. It's a prerequisite if we want to become an innovator, and that is also our approach of how we think outside the box. So that is for maintaining creativity. And the next is connecting with other people's creativity. My dear participants, I hope you'll agree with me that more often than not, we really learn a lot from our colleagues, from from our classmates, from our batchmates, no, from other people, from other agency for that matter. Okay, so if we want to uh, develop more, create more, no, we have to connect with other people, and we have to consider four parameters here. We have the first, surround yourself with creative people. Well, um, I think I'll have to usher you to the old adage, no, that uh, tell me who your friends are, and I will tell you who you are. If you really would like to become creative, innovative, then be with this type of personalities, of this type of people. No? Otherwise, if you want to be innovative, then you are always with people who are not indulged into these things, then you cannot be creative. Okay? So surround always yourself with creative people. Of course, with if you are with this type of personalities, you will discuss a lot of things. You will learn a lot of things because they'll be discussing about innovation, creativity, and a lot more. And it will help you learn a lot. Then pay attention to other people's ideas. Well, this is very important. No, nobody monopolizes ideas or knowledge. Okay, so we have to pay attention. If we are a leader, if we are the boss in the office, it helps if you continuously meet with your people, with your middle manager, uh, discuss on some concerns and issues and solutions. No, listen to these people because they are actually the frontliners. They know a lot about the situation. They know a lot about the issue or the problems, and I think they'll help us a lot in coming up with the correct, with the right, the appropriate intervention or solution. Well, third requirement is learn to listen. Okay, um, sometimes sometimes because of our busy schedule, we neglect this very important thing to listen. Okay, because we're too busy, uh, we do not invest time to listening with our people, listening with our colleagues, no? But mind you, my dear participants, we really need to listen to other people. If we want, no? Uh, to become one of the best personality of us doing thinking or innovation. Fourth is remember you will be presenting ideas that might be outside of normal. It's correct, no? After conceptualizing everything, after coming up with an idea and the process, the solution, the package, this time you might be asked to present your idea, no? To a group to answer to your boss, no, and to stakeholders. And therefore, you'll have to be ready. You'll have to make it. You have to package it, no, that you should have a foresight of what are the possible questions, what are the pros and cons, and the what if should be fully understood by us. No, that is if we really want to become innovative and if we really would like to practice thinking outside the box. So those are the parameters that we need to consider when we say how to think outside the box. And having the skill of thinking outside the box, meaning if you possess the skill, you will now be considered as one of the practicing innovators. And why we need to think outside the box? And why we need to possess that innovative skills? Well, because we have to create change. We have to make change in the organization or in the school where we are. Okay? So you cannot create change if you do not possess that skill of thinking outside the box, because you cannot find solution or creative solution or unique solution for a certain issue. So you must be possessed by that particular skill of thinking outside the box, meaning if you know how to think outside the box, then you are now considered as innovator. Then as an innovator, the next thing that you will do is to create change in the school. Now, how does the school change? Well, this is based on the super school approach. No? Super school approach is actually written by Alfredo Hernando. Uh, this is about a journey to the 21st century education. According to him, if you want to change school, you have to consider two very important factors. These are the cornerstones and the sources. Uh, cornerstones has four stages. The first, you'll have to look at the content organization or the methodology and evaluation. If you are in a school, you'll have to look at the methodology. You'll have to look at the curriculum. You'll have to look at a lot of things in the organization. Then, students and teachers relate to each other. We have to consider this situation that the students and the teachers relate to each other. If you want that your school will transition from something transformational, then teachers and students must establish this very important cornerstone. Meaning the students and the teachers really work together, okay, as a team, no? And third, planning and organization. It's very crucial, very critical. Planning and organization. Remember, uh, planning to fail is uh, failing to plan. If you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. Okay. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. Meaning, planning is very important if we want to create change. No? And the fourth is use of space. Well, it's very, very important. In the current situation that we have, we cannot afford that our learners are just put in a room for wall classrooms. In fact, in most countries, developed countries, their classroom is the community. Their classroom is already the entire world, no? And that is why we have to maximize to use space. And on the other hand, we have also the sources. Of course, in the education uh, business, our primary consideration why we have to have education, of course, is to influence our uh, society. No, so we'll have to have the sociological basis. We have to influence the psychological thing with the psychological basis. We have to look into epistemological basis, no? And we have to look into pedagogy. And these are the uh, four very important components that we will use how to create change in a school. And how they did that, okay? um, the practice, no, how they're going, how they're able to arrive at a certain decision, considering those the four major components of the cornerstone and the sources. They prepared a matrix, called that the 4 by 4 matrix of the super school. If you want, according to them, to establish a super school, no? A school that is really catering, no? That is really very relevant to the community, you'll have to consider it. No? Uh, at the left side, the vertical, at the y-axis, no, we have the cornerstones with the curriculum, methodology and evaluation, the student and teachers rules, the planning, the space and time. Then at the y-axis, x-axis, we have the sociological basis, the psychological basis, and the epistemological basis, and the pedagogical basis. If you are going to match it, no, how are you? What are you going to create? What will be your focus if you match the curriculum, methodology, and evaluation versus sociological basis? So if you match that, you'll have to have focal points and connection with reality. So here, you're able to capture uh, the the connection with reality. That the curriculum must be connected, must be based on reality, because you have to consider the sociological things, what's happening in the society, no, and whatever is the situation of the society, that will be your basis for your curriculum, your methodology, and your evaluation. They are able to come up with the right, correct, relevant curriculum. Also, if we extend further, no, from the curriculum, methodology, and evaluation to the right, you'll have to look at the psychological basis. If you match psychological basis and curriculum, methodology, and evaluation, you're able to determine varied and adaptable tools. So here, you will be looking at various tools that you will use uh, as part of your curriculum, methodology, and evaluation, and so on and so forth. Okay? For curriculum, methodology, and evaluation with pedagogical basis, well, real experiences and projects. That's the trend today. No, our curriculum must define real experiences and projects. Our curriculum must look at the realities in the society. What's the demand of the society? In fact, one of the very significant change in the curriculum, particularly for the senior high school K to 12, grade 11 and grade 12, is that uh, our learners should be given real experiences and projects, especially for TVL, Technical Vocational Livelihood strand. The project that the students should be making must be answering the problem of the society. Meaning, if a certain sector of the society demands for a software, like if the sector of small entrepreneurs, of SMEs, small medium entrepreneurs, need software for their inventory, then the school offering computer programming should make it as basis for the project that they'll give to their students. So the student will develop that system, and that software, that system, will now answer the need of that specific sector. That's supposedly, no, uh, the ideal thing if we really would like to have a relevant, no, uh, education, no, that answers the need of the society or community. Moving downward with student and teacher rules, uh, if we look at the sociological basis, well, teach student teachers rules, you'll come up with community of learners. Well, of course, student and teacher rules with sociological basis, then you have a community of learners. Meaning, you will be able to create a community where they're all eager to learn. They're all eager to find new things, uh, in relevant, to their need, to their demand, and to the current situation. And moving to the extreme right, student and teacher rules, using psychological basis, you have to have experienced designer. So here, you'll have to customize your curriculum. That if you base it with this matrix, then you'll have to do something about your curriculum. And agreements and monitoring shared among students. That is for epistemological basis, student and teacher rules, and so on and so forth. So, my dear participants, this approach uh, is considered effective and efficient in coming up, no, in transforming our school from the curriculum to the student and teacher rules, the planning, space and time. This should be influenced by the sociological basis, psychological basis, epistemological basis, and uh, pedagogical basis. Okay, so like for instance, in the Department of Education, on the planning and looking the planning and the extreme right pedagogical basis, we have the community. Well, in the Department of Education, it's espoused that all schools must come up with their respective school improvement plan with the participation of the community of the stakeholders. Okay, so meaning um, planning to be more uh, uh, responsive to the situation of the school and the community. Planning must not only be done by the principal or teachers of the school. We have to involve other stakeholders as our way of making them aware and making them feel that they are owner also of our school, especially for public school. Okay, and this 4x4 approach of transformation is really very effective and efficient. You can you can try it in your respective offices. How are you going to arrive at a certain transformation in a specific uh, uh, combination of the cornerstones and the sources? Okay, and after determining, after knowing how we're going to transform our school, considering the cornerstones, considering the uh, sources, we will now transition to how are we going to design our own school project? How are we going to create our own school project? Well, we have here 10 uh, considerations, approaches on how are we going to design our own school project. First thing that we should do is to dust off our educational project. What do we mean by dust off our educational project? Well, it's a fact that we have a lot of programs and projects being implemented, particularly for DepEd. No? We have the Kulayan sa Paaralan, we have the feeding program, we have the a lot of programs and projects. But we should have to have a thorough review, study of these programs and projects. We'll have to, from time to time, determine the efficiency and the effectiveness of the program and project, because the program might need some adjustments because it does not anymore fit to the context of the community or to the context of the school. So there is a necessity to really review. There is a necessity to really modify the program, modify the project. In For our participants coming from universities, as a university president, dean, it is, I know, for our counterpart from the tertiary, they keep doing this review. I know they are always updating their programs and projects. So we're able to become efficient in terms of resources, because it's really a fact that in the government, if you are in the government, if you are funded by the government, our funds really are not enough. So we cannot afford to be wasting our money, our resources, our time of a program, of a project that we have not even tested its efficiency, its effectiveness as intended. Okay, so dust off your project, meaning review, assess, okay, determine the effectiveness and efficiency, because we might be implementing programs and projects that are not anymore effective to answer or to respond to a particular concern or issue or problem. Okay, like for instance, if I implemented a system, a software about the automated grading system and automated classroom class teacher reporting 2 3 years ago, and there are a lot of things happened already. If I not review the system, then it will become irrelevant. It will become useless this time. So there is a need always to review the program. So even if it's a software, it's a system. You have to always review the program or your programs or projects being implemented. Second thing is connect to your environment. Well, when we say connect to your environment, we have to connect to our client, connect to the community. No? So we're able to determine the reality of the school, the reality of the school environment. So we're able to determine the strengths and the weaknesses of our school and the community. No? So we're able to find opportunities, no? uh, available in the community. Meaning, if we want our school to be relevant to the community, we should have to always consider the community, consider the unique characteristic of our school. No, meaning there must be a thorough analysis of the situation of the school. There must be a thorough inventory of the potential of the school, its strengths and weaknesses. Third, interview your educational community. That's very important. No? When you are able to gather data, facts, scenario, situations, and so on and so forth, we'll have to validate that by interviewing our community. Meaning, you have already, when you have already the data, you have already your data bank. The next thing to do is to validate by asking our community, by validating with our stakeholders the data that we have at hand. So make use of interviews or qualitative methods to get the most useful information as possible about the people in your community. They'll give you the case. Okay, so it is necessary. Sometimes if we will just confine ourselves in the four walls of our offices, or in the school, we tend to forget that the school must be serving the community. No, it's not good that um, we have a different design in the inside the school, inside the classroom, to what's happening outside. No? So we must always be relevant. We must always consider what's happening outside. We must always consider the feedback, no, of our stakeholders, of the community, so the school will become more uh, more relevant, no, and receptive to the community. At the end of the day, the school is there really to create the best community that we want for our children. That must be our major consideration. Next is discover your school superpower. Oh, uh, do your school have superpower? Well, of course, you have a lot of superpower in your school. You have to know them. You have to fully understand them. No, look at the different superpowers in your school. The unique thing in your school, like if your faculty are all graduates of doctor of doctorate degree, well, that's one of your strengths. If your faculty are trained by the Development Academy of the Philippines, well, that's another strength. If your faculty are uh, scholars of ASEAN Institute of Management, well, that's another strength. Okay, and a lot more. Okay, so your school's talent has evolved throughout its history with the help of the people that have built it day after day. So we need to capture the superpower, the strength, no? Because that strength will will be your arm for you to transform the school. Okay, not so much with the weaknesses, but you have to understand also what are the weaknesses of the school, because definitely that's the challenge that you are facing. But you have at at first you have to look for the strengths of the school, because strengths can be can be used by you in solving, in addressing some of the weaknesses. Okay, so start knowing the strengths, meaning the plus plus plus, and later the minuses, or the negative or the weaknesses. Fourth thing about designing your school project is dream your school. What you want your school 3 years from now? What you want your school 5 years from now? Okay? If you want your school to be uh, high tech in terms of classroom, in terms of curriculum delivery, then imagine it well. Okay? So, what do you really want for your school? Because if you are not able to dream of your school, then you cannot create transformation. You cannot create change. Okay, and you're not be forced of designing a project or a school project. Okay, so we heard a lot of best practices of our principals, of our teachers in the classrooms, because they really imagine the kind of classrooms, the kind of pupils that they want to produce at the end of their basic education. Okay, so do you remember what your school was like 10 or 15 years ago? Then look at it now. Look at it right now. How has it changed? Okay, so use your imagination to visualize the school that you would like to be in 10 years from now. If you want that uh, your school will be popular of producing a software, producing uh, the best um, machine in the future, the best program, the best software in the future, then imagine that. Try to imagine it, no? A dream for it. Next is build your own time machine. Well, this is about timetable. This is what I want for my school, and I would like to accomplish this within 3 years or 5 years. Because for those who are coming from the Department of Education, especially if you're a principal, I think uh, your shortest term is 3 years. After 3 years, you'll be transferred, or maybe 5 years. So you have to work it out, no? Within that span of time where you are assigned to that particular school. Uh, Meaning, if you're planning to implement long-term projects, well, contemplate on it. No? Just consider your term. So at the end of your third year, you're able to harvest the, out, the outcome, the results of what you have implemented 2 or 3 years back. Okay. And seventh, what is your school's DNA? Well, uh, uh, I thought human being and animals has the DNA only, no? But here in our study, in our discussion this afternoon, our school has also its own DNA. So every establishment has specific strengths and ways of being unique. So its evolution should be visible in the students. And how do you imagine your students when they finish the school? So uh, I remember my school, no, in my previous region that the culture of the school is very nice, no? Because the students are competitive when they participate in a division or regional competition or national competition. They really want always to win. Okay, well, that's the DNA, no? That's the kind of culture that they have. So being competitive, and it helps a lot, no? In terms of developing the mindset of our students, developing the mindset of our teachers, that when you do things in the classroom, they must have to do it with quality. Okay, so understand, know your DNA. That's very important. And next is redesign your educational project. Well, when you have already when you are already implementing a project, well, as I said a while ago, do not be contented of of re-implementing the project without looking at the efficiency, the effectiveness, and the impact of the project. It's very important. In no case that we implement project for compliance. No, so when we implement project, when we implement program, we should have to measure the efficiency and the effectiveness of the project as defined in the objectives of the project. Otherwise, you'll be wasting money, resources, and time, and you cannot solve a specific concern that the project would like to resolve. And create your own 4x4 school map, meaning you have to create also, you have to draw, plot what you are imagining, what you have, what the result of your daydream. No, create your own innovation project. No, do it with the help of your peers and with the school families. Meaning, uh, you have to involve your team. In no case that a leader, a principal, for that matter, will be developing a project alone, implementing the project. It's impossible. So you have to involve your peers. You have to involve the community, involve the communities, involve even the students in the conceptualization, in the planning, and in the implementation, and the monitoring and evaluation of the programs and projects. That's very important, because if you're able to do that, you are more transparent to them, and the accountability will not only be borne by the principal or by the leader, but the accountability will also be borne by the stakeholders, by the families, by the students, by the faculty. And if that is the culture, if that's the kind of culture that you have in your school, seldom you'll fail in any endeavor, in any project that you will implement. So you have to establish your own map, or if you can establish your own strategic direction, much better. No, so you're able to map out, you're able to plot it in a simple diagram, no, matrix or diagram showing therein the elements of the transformation that you want to create and the outcome that you want to happen at the end of 3 years, 4 or 5 years. And lastly, keep reading. Well, I hope as a leader, as a middle manager, uh, this is one of our biases. No? Meaning, dapat vision na natin to. No? We keep reading, because when you start designing a project, your trip has just started. No? So you have not yet traveled. You have not yet, you are still on the designing phase. So after finishing your design, that's the time that you will start traveling, moving from one phase to another, transforming the school from this situation to this particular situation. So that's the 10th and the last approach, no, of how are we going to design our own project. And allow me to introduce to you the top 6 technology innovations for education uh, in the last 10 years. The popular virtual reality or VR in education. I know you're very much aware about virtual reality. No, with the use of the gadget, they're able to see the virtual thing of the planet, no, the environment, and so on and so forth. That can be very useful in teaching our kids and teaching our learners. And later, I'll show you some best innovations of the world incorporating technology. Second, artificial intelligence or AI. Okay, Our gadgets, our cell phones have used the artificial intelligence already. Our robots, no? uh, and a lot of the gadgets and equipment that we have right now have adopted artificial intelligence or what we call machine learning. Third is cloud computing for education. Okay, now here with the use of internet, the use of cloud, the use of a lot of platforms, we can already have uh, our computing, our cloud computing for education. 3D printing. Well, so 3D printing, this is current. We can already print uh, the real shape of an object. If it's cylindrical, if it's round, if it's triangle, if it's whatever shape, no, including the person, no, including your body, no, can be printed via 3D printing. Okay, and for fifth, social media and education as well. This is very popular now, no, with the COVID-19 pandemic. Social media education becomes popular. In fact, what we are doing right now with the Google Meet is one of the example of the social media in education. We have also the MS Teams, we have also the Zoom, and a lot more, no, as our tool in delivering learning to our learners. And the next one is the use of biometrics in schools. Okay, biometrics in schools and other technology-based innovation for education. In fact, we have the real-time attendance, no, of our school children, and of our officials, of our employees. That is also one of the technology innovations for education. And allow me to assure you to the best educational innovation in the world. Okay, uh, flash on your screen is the very popular 3D learning from United Arab Emirates. Okay, so 3D learning meaning the learners use this gadget to learn things. Huh? So you just imagine a lecture hall full of the students in 3D classes, no, watching a hologram of the human brain or the planets in the solar system. This is the reality, no. In Dubai, where classrooms and labs are connected by a super high-speed fiber optic network and science lessons are delivered on a 3D platform or 3D learning draws student attention and can help make abstract concepts easier to grasp. Sure beats watching a grainy video on a rolled in television card. So you'll imagine, no, the the use of technology, no, in Dubai, because they have the fastest fiber optic network. They really can learn many things using this gadget, no, and that is one of the best example of incorporating technology in education. Okay, so without the learner going out from their classroom, they can see the real thing using the 3D gadget. Okay. Next is this one is diverse, no? Literacy brigades in Cuba. Uh, this is uh, very popular, no? Cuba's rural literacy rate was 59%. Just imagine uh, their literacy rate was only 59%, no? So meaning they have 41% illiterate. In 1961, Fidel Castro sent out literacy brigades and teachers into the islands, hinterlands, to address the problem about literacy. Okay, in the basic education, we have the alternative learning system. So under the alternative learning system, we have the basic literacy program for learners who really could not write, could not read. They'll be enrolled in the BLP or basic literacy program. We also have in the ALS livelihood programs. And we have also the accreditation and equivalency test. If the learner is not able to finish elementary but is already an overage in the elementary, he can be enrolled in an ALS for our A and E accreditation and equivalency. Then they'll be taught by a facilitator. Then they'll be asked to take the test. Then if they pass the test, then they'll be promoted to the next higher grade level by using the A and E test results. So that is for Cuba. And the very popular robot teachers from South Korea. Okay, so South Korea has this innovation, no, trendsetter innovation with teacher using the AI, artificial intelligence. We have imagine, no, our teachers in the classrooms are being replaced by a robot. So in some South Korean school classroom, students learn English from Inky, an egg-shaped robot English teacher with a cute humanoid face. With a cute humanoid face, Inky is controlled remotely by a native English speaker at home, say in Australia or in the US, whose face is projected on an Inky screen known as a telepresence. So robot Inky helps address shortages of native English teachers in South Korea. So imagine the innovation, no? That the teacher is teaching, is staying in a remote place, but through Inky, is able to teach his learners or her learners via the robot. No, his face is actually flashed on the screen of the egg-like robot, no, and is able to teach the learners English. So that's the breakthrough for South Korea. Another one is the Project 826 of Valencia worldwide. No, this is also like there's a like an ALS in the Philippines, no. But the one manages or offering this one is non-governmental organizations. Okay, so what they did, they transformed schools into pirate ships, laboratories, circuses, and even superhero stores by having the original tutoring and monitoring projects. So they really have the personalized way of teaching the learners. Okay, so that is one of their innovation, one of their projects being implemented in terms of education innovation. In Denmark, they're implementing the forest kindergartens. Okay, so well, I think in the Philippines, the parents will not allow our toddlers to be staying, no, in a forest or in a place where it's for us very harmful, no, forcing it. While American parents fret over the increasing amounts of testing and homework for young children in much of Scandinavian kindergartens are expected to do much more than run around outside. The forest kindergarten model, popularized in Northern Europe, gives young children is unstructured playtime in a natural setting. So, unstructured time. So, children are immersed, are given the ample time to play, but in the natural setting. No, I don't know if in the Philippines this will become this is adaptable, but I think this is also adaptable in our place. No, only that our kids are now fond of using gadget. No, cell phone, tablet, iPad. Some even of our kids are they love staying in the room. No, just to manipulate, play, use the iPad and some other gadgets. But here, this is a base approach in letting the child develop appreciation of nature, love of nature. Another one is from San Francisco, California. They call this Sama School in San Francisco. The school that says it's not too late. No? So it's more or less like our owls, no? You can finish your schooling, you can finish a high school, you can finish even a course in high school, uh, even if you're already overage, okay? Even if you will not really go to school daily, no? With our alternative learning system. So this is very helpful for some of our children who really cannot afford to go to school regularly, especially if they're already working. So they can finish still their basic education by enrolling in our alternative learning system. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the some of the world-based education innovation. Next, I will share to you our local initiatives. Uh, I called it ecosystem. No, it's not really intended for me. No, because my surname is Eco, but actually it's about enhanced computerized office system that we implemented in the school through the basic classroom information system. We have automated the classroom reporting, the grading system, no? That is part of the basic classroom information system. Then part of the ecosystem is the document management system, where we archive, no, the 201 files of all the teachers, so it can be found easily when the teacher themselves would like to have a copy of the transcript of their appointment and so on and so forth. The records officer, the records in charge can easily access the document and they can send it through email. So the teacher will just request via our portal for any documents he has in our DMS, like as I mentioned, their transcript of records, their diploma, their appointment, because they're all archived. Their training certificate are also archived in the document management system. So teachers are not anymore task to go to office just to secure copy of their documents because it is being archived using the document management system. We also have the human resource information system, no, uh, which actually facilitates archiving also of some personal records in the human resource, like their trainings, scholarship programs, in fact, uh, including their service records. The HRIS also generates the employees will be availing of the step increment automatically. The system generates also the employees that will be availing of the loyalty pay and other benefits uh, through the system. Here, we do not anymore ask the employee, the teacher, to submit documents to the office for their step increment because the documents are already with us. So the employees will will just learn when they see their payroll, their pay slip, that their salary is already adjusted by using the system. No? So that is the human resource information system. We have also implemented opening creation of the Catbalogan City Agro Industrial School. I think this is only one in my previous region, in Region 8, where students of senior high school, grade 11 and 12, are accommodated in the facility for 2 years. They are free board and lodging. They have food. Uh, they'll just simply study, no? And we have assigned kitchen personnel for them. We have assigned dormitory manager for them. So what the students will only do is to study, no? Produce outputs. Since this is an agricultural school, their laboratories actually uh, is within the 10-hectare area of the facility. No? The students really undergo real farming, no? Real growing culture of various crops and livestock. No? And in fact, right now they are producing already black rice. And one of our partners here is the Standard Chartered Bank. They have financed the livelihood component of the program because after graduation, the students uh, will receive a financial grant for their livelihood project. Then we have also the Bangka ng Buhay project for our parents of the learners who are at risk of dropping out. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'll be sharing to you the synopsis of these local initiatives that we have done, that we have implemented in my previous work assignment. So I think I'll request Ma'am Miriam to play the video. Ma'am?
Yes, sir. Ivan, please go ahead and play the video.
A computer-enabled program dubbed as Enhanced Computerized Office System or ECHO system.
This software consists of separate but integrated application modules that address the unique set of functionality and data security requirements of individual users, user groups, and organizational units within the schools, school districts, and the division.
The first component is the Basic Classroom Information System or BCIS, which is a system for teachers' technological advancement. It is a system that relieves the teachers from the tasking and time-consuming manual recording, computation, and other clerical work. Here, students' grades are processed through a computer application that bumps off the work that would generally take months into a few minutes. The system had its pilot implementation in two of the biggest schools of the division, namely Catbalogan 1 Central School and Samar National School.
Through this, the teachers only need to input raw data, quizzes, works, and other performance outputs offline. These data are then automatically computed and reflected in the students' class records, grade sheets, and even in the report cards and permanent records.
Sa ngayon, gamit namin ang BCIS. Ito ay napakadali. I-input na lang namin yung total quizzes, yung performance tasks, at yung periodical test.
Every quarter and at the end of the school year, the system readily generates the cards, permanent records, and other pertinent documents of students ready for distribution. The system also provides information like the class mean and the MPS, which are necessary in determining the whole class performance. These processes are completed without necessarily requiring so much time and effort from the teachers.
There was a successful implementation of the BCIS in two of the biggest schools of the division. Also this year, there will be 100% utilization of the same technology in all the schools.
First week ng August ng 2017, kumuha rin ako ng Form 137 sa Samar National School. Hindi na nakasulat yung mga data or mga grades ng bata. Computer generated na siya. Safe na yung grades ng mga bata, hindi magagalaw basta-basta. So ito yung mga nakita kong mga pagbabago ng document management ng isang paaralan.
The BCIS utility provides a huge impact in the school's entire performance. The accuracy of grade computation, the efficiency of the teacher's performance in teaching, and the process of grade computation are faster and easier. The validity of the students' computed grades are established since the system computes the numbers automatically. Since the heavy workload was lightened, teachers can offer more time on improving teaching techniques and pay more attention to their students particularly on matters of misbehavior, poor performance, and risks of dropping out. Because of the new BCIS, the schools provided higher quality of education.
Indeed, because of the fact that teachers already had ample time to attend to the needs of the students, the dropout rate of the two schools significantly decreased from 7.98% to 2.1% in the school year 2016-2017.
The second component of the ecosystem is the Human Resource Information System, or HRIS. Here, the issuances of service records and other personal documents of the employees are facilitated and readily generated and issued when needed.
Employee benefits like step increments, royalty pay entitlements, and other benefits, and even ranking and selection processes and profiling of employees are installed.
Documents Management System, or DMS, is the third component. In this component, all the documents of teachers like the certificates of trainings, seminars, resource speakerships, appointment or promotion documents, and other pertinent papers necessary in the upgrading of employee status are indexed and can easily be generated when needed.
The availability of the Human Resource Information System, or the HRIS, the Document Management Information System, and BCIS, as well as the website or the portal for the division, are all considered remarkable and worthwhile as they make office processes easier and quicker.
The system has a great impact on the entire organization operations, as these assure corruption-free transactions because the clients do not need to personally transact business at the office. All processes are already done online. The installation and implementation of ecosystem is sustainable in a way that its utilization is efficient and can improve through modern technology, with enough facilities and manpower, as well as educating the teachers and staff with its proper use and necessary knowledge in using the system. There is no doubt that it will be sustained by giving them firm belief that anything is possible through resourcefulness and innovativeness, thus the birth of the two most remarkable innovations he spearheaded, the swimming pool by the sea and the Bangka ng Buhay project of Catbalogan City. With the institutionalization of Harampang came the birth of Bangka ng Buhay in Catbalogan City, Samar. Having learned the real condition of families in the island barangays after Typhoon Yolanda hit the place, and knowing that such condition consequently affects school performance of students, SDS ECHO, together with the Office Social Mobilization Unit, searched for stakeholders who could help appease the economic status of the people in the islands. So, SDS ECHO tapped the Standard Chartered Bank Philippines.
At least ngayon, meron na rin kayong pagkakataon na kumita ng pera.
Together with the Philippine Business for Social Progress.
Itong DepEd sa Catbalogan, pwede siya maging model DepEd.
Who then donated 38 motorboats with fishing packages, which were given to selected families with children who will benefit from the free ferry service to Barangay Rama, where the high school is located.
Nakikita mo si Sir Echo kahit sa livelihood, ang dami niyang inputs, and we really value that. Kasi parang this is how I see that how the DepEd should operate.
After ferrying the students to their schools in the morning, the motorboats are used for fishing. Another component of the livelihood package is the provision of livelihood trainings for wives, wherein they were given start-up capital for small-scale business enterprise.
The project greatly impacted the students and their families. Students' interest in going to school heightened. The high school, which used to have a high dropout rate before the implementation of Bangka ng Buhay project, now exhibited a remarkable zero dropout rate in the last school year 2016-2017.
In a bid to develop world-class swimmers from the province, the Department of Education's Catbalogan City Division creates a floating swimming pool in the middle of the sea.
is another brainchild of Sir Echo, inspired by the fact that he has the full support of the city government. He was motivated to spearhead the construction of the swimming facility.
We believe that it will help the athletes of the city in promotion or preparing them to be good athletes in the long run. Now that we know that in this area we have best swimmers, how much more if we support projects like this that will really hone them to be better athletes.
Those who have less in life should have more of the government services. Those who are financially deprived should be provided more opportunities. These were the principles of SDS CFG.OMO. Living with these principles, he made ways to access financial and material resources for the construction of a swimming pool.
And knowing the potential of Catbalogan City in swimming, and considering the unavailability of the facility for swimming, we really have come up with implementing or coming up with this project. And this is, I think, the most cheap facility that we can provide to our athletes in training them and making them one of the best athletes.
Even if the island kids could play with waves, they are not trained on even just the basic Olympic swimming strokes due to absence of facility.
Dito kami hamay pantalan, dito kami nag-practice, naghuhulat kami kung saan matao, damot motor dito hapantalan, ipadisog nira kay para makalangoy ang kabataan. Pero di rin namo natatansya kung ano gud isakto na ba it nalalangwit bata. Standard pool 50 meters, siguro ang amon lang na-practice 25 meters. Ang usa nga bata or kada usa nga swimmer, pwede ha usa nga lane.
SDS ECHO worked hard to design a swimming pool by the sea and ensured that it is well maintained and properly utilized by deputizing the local officials as overseers in the area.
The best niya, susuportahan na kung pwede kita makapadara ng ibra kami, palang pambansa.
With this facility, the children of Catbalogan shall now be given the freedom to develop and enhance their potentials in swimming, even at their young age. Their discipline, talent, confidence, and skills are honed and enhanced through this facility that is free and readily available.
Saran mo ading namong balay dagat paglakat ko pas paglukso ko matang practice mo.
Sobra niya nakakabulig para awon ng mga swimmer. Pag trainingan mga kabataan niya para gumapit swimming.
Is highly remarkable, for this has made all Catbaloganans proud. This is a realization of everyone's dream of providing a training ground for the future swimming champions. In fact, as a result of this training ground, the division has initially produced silver medalists in the 2017 Evra Amit.
In addition, the barangay officials in Kagutsan were also encouraged to beautify, renovate, and continuously improve their place and prepare for the flock of visitors who will be coming to see and experience the beauty of nature through the floating swimming pool. The place has become a potential tourist destination which will pave way to sustainable social change. The project also serves instrumental in awakening environmental awareness among the community folks as they are required to make necessary steps in taking good care of the facility, like avoidance of throwing garbage and chemicals to the sea to avoid its damage.
Having the least resources is a huge challenge in achieving our goals, but it is also a great opportunity to create interventions and act on small things that will have much and lasting impact on our clientele, organization, that concludes my presentation this afternoon. Thank you very much for your indulgence, and I hope you're able to pick up few insights on how are we going to in our schools for the benefits of our learners. And I hope you're also able to connect, relate, because you have done also more innovations and initiatives in your schools. And hopefully, with this session, are able to at least uh, showcase to you our humble contributions to the Department of Education and to the community as educators. So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you to the AP for the opportunity. Merry Christmas sa inyong tanan. From DepEd Region 7, sa 7, una ang bata, Permi. Good afternoon.
Daghang salamat, Director Eco, sa imong mahinungdanon nga presentasyon. It was very comprehensive and inspiring to be reminded of the innovations we have to date, especially those we have locally. So before we proceed to our open forum, we will have a 5-minute break. To our participants, please continue to post your questions at the chat box, both at the Google Meet or at the YouTube channel for our open forum. See you in 5 minutes. All right, so welcome back. So we will now be opening our platform for questions for the presentation of Director Eco. So we only have a few questions here, surprisingly, but a lot of comments about the presentation being so inspirational and a dream for schools nationwide. So perhaps let me start with one of our first questions here at the Google Meet. May I request Ms. Nornita Nemenzo of DepEd Dumaguete City to address or to state her question directly to Director Eco?
Good afternoon, Dr. Echo. Can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir.
Yes, yes.
My question was that the approaches are very nice and excellent, and I experienced those from our administrators when I was still in the formal school, and I hope that there are also counterparts of the said approaches for the alternative learning system. Do we have, sir? That's my question, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good you have mentioned alternative learning system matters, no? It is really true that the Department of Education is also uh, trying to find other means or modality. How are we going to address our concerns about the out of school youth, considering this sector, this group really needs attention in terms of basic education. For us, I think it is really part of the annual budget of the Department of Education, and we've been doing a lot of things about alternative learning system, especially in the regional level. We are capacitating our teachers, we're capacitating our ALS implementers, but for the time being, while we are facing the pandemic, our constraint right now is how are we going really to capture our ALS target clientele, considering our limited mobility. So thank you so much, ma'am. In fact, we are proposing for, I think this is one of the things that I think you'll have to watch out. We will be pushing next year for establishing an innovation hub in the entire Region 7, where that hub will be uh, uh, housing the best innovations of our students and teachers in the field of curriculum, in the field of education. And we will have to implement it by next year. And so you can watch it. You watch it out. No, how we initiate this project in partnership with the Department of Trade and Industry.
Sir Echo, can I add some?
Yes, ma'am.
Because the implementation of the rating system for our ALS implementers is ang gigamit jud ang katong from the formal school, sir, nga RPMS, and if the specialists for us are going to rate based on those guidelines nila nga very very strict, manghagbong ito namang implementers, and can we have a modified RPMS PPST for us too, sir? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, I am part of the regional team on the regional performance management team, and we will look at it, ma'am. No, and I think there is a need for us to adjust our policy issued by the central office relative to the performance management system for our classroom teachers. And it's correct. There must be customized, shall I say, performance system for the alternative learning uh, teachers or ALS teachers or mobile teachers for some. No? Thank you, ma'am, for raising that concern.
All right, thank you, Ms. Nemenso. For our next question, may I call Ms. Jeanette Veloso of DepEd Region 9 to state her question directly?
Good afternoon, Director Echo.
Yes, ma'am. Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas, sir. I'm just so particular on the parameters that you have shared a while back, and indeed, these are very helpful to, especially to our new breed of leaders. But I just want to know why, despite that all our leaders are being reinforced by stakeholder support, and probably we shared all the vision to the members of the organizations, still they fail to manage innovations.
Ah, it's a very, very relevant question, no? Innovation, actually, if you look at the... Are you from DepEd, ma'am?
Yes, sir, from DepEd Regional Office 11.
Okay. Innovation, if you look at the rationalized functions of the both regional and division level, is already highlighted in our KRA. In the past, it's not even part, no, of our key performance area. That is why our DepEd, the people in the field, tend to ignore innovation as part of their key result area. But with the advent of the rationalization, looking at the compendium of functions of every level, from the region, the supervisors, down to the division level, innovation is already part of the key result area. And your concern can be answered, no? If only our field offices also subscribe to the compendium in letting the leaders, the principals, the supervisors prepare their work and financial plan or work plan for the year. That is why in Region 7, ma'am, modesty aside, we started aligning our programs and activities from our key result area. In no instance that the chief and the supervisors will be submitting to us their 2021 work plan without anchoring it to the compendium of the position. So they have to comply. They have to comply 100%. What's reflected in the compendium of the KRA. If you do this activity, we will ask you: is this part of your key result area? Is this your mandate? If this is not your mandate, then forget it. So part there of the compendium of the KRA in every functional division and in every level is actually innovation. So managing innovation in DepEd is really not popular. It's not popular. In fact, maybe because we have not set up a system of recognizing innovation. Yeah, of pulling up this innovation, recognizing the innovators, because I think this will also help motivate people in the field to really invest their time, more time, no, on innovating. And that is why, again, modesty aside, for Region 7, by next year, as I mentioned a while ago, we will be establishing our innovation hub. We will be recognizing our people who really have introduced innovation from the classroom, including students and pupils. Their innovation will be recognized by the region. This is to manage innovation in the organization.
All right, so thank you, Ms. Veloso, for your question. Next, we'll have Ms. Maya Tumalon from DepEd Bohol. Ms. Tumalon, may you have the, can you state your question directly po?
My question is to identify factors hindi man kasi napansin ng explanation ng lahat. So, there are lots of projects of they're taken. So, if you try to
Ma'am, di ko marinig si Ma'am Maya.
Yes. Ms. Tumalon, I'm sorry, ma'am. I think you're having some technical problems. Let me just read your question instead. Her question, Director Echo, was, are there tools to measure risk factors in the development and in the provision of innovation to improve the delivery of instruction in the new normal? Director Echo?
Ma'am, kindly please repeat the question. Medyo naputol na.
Okay, yes, sir. The question of Ms. Tumalon was, are there tools to measure risk factors in the development and in the provision of innovations to improve the delivery of instruction in the new normal?
Okay. Well, let me share to Mamaya that when you are innovating, the risk is always there. If you avoid risk, then you must not be innovating things, because in every innovation, risk is always there. But what is important is when you start innovating, you should have to have calculated risk. Okay. Speaking of tools, well, I've seen tools about determining the risk, managing risk. But for innovation, I think if we can develop one, then it might be very helpful to the knowledge pool, no, especially for the planners and innovators, because we can actually measure risk for some variables, no, of your innovation. Like halimbawa, when you have already completed your program, your innovation, you have to look for the risk based on the variables, like what's the risk in terms of if the program will be affected by the weather, no? So may risk ka diha na may risk ka diyan na makikita, like kung ang project, if your project is or will be affected by the weather condition, then there is a risk about weather, no? You should have to calculate every month how many typhoon will come in the months of December, November, and so on and so forth. So you're able to determine the risk. But a tool on how to do it, I've not encountered yet. Maybe DAP could invite a resource person on one of the webinars about tool on determining risk of any innovation. I think we have experts on that, no?
Yes, yes, sir. We do have in the DAP. We do have risk management courses.
Yeah.
Offered. All right. So for our next question, I would like to call Mr. Eric John Marmol of Philippine Science High School, Eastern Visayas campus, to state his question directly, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon po, Director Echo.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Actually, my question is about, thank you for the very good sharing. So my question is actually about ensuring the sustainability of innovation. So how do you ensure the sustainability of innovations so that they will have a long-term impact in the organization? Because if you're going to notice, sometimes we tend to formulate innovations. However, we cannot guarantee if these innovations will really be sustainable or if this will have long-term impacts in organizations. Thank you po.
Okay. So sustainability of any innovation, there are a lot of factors you'll consider. First, in the planning phase, make sure you're not planning alone. You have a team, no? You have to involve. Even the beneficiary should be part of the planning phase and coming up with the final plan. In fact, during the implementation, monitoring and evaluation and assessment, they must be always there. Okay. Another measure of other than planning implementation that you have your stakeholders for sustainability is, if possible, come up with policy. If you need an ordinance for the city for the continued support like funding, or you need employees or you need staff to manage a certain facility, like what happened in the swimming pool in the sea. The local government unit hired one employee as lifeguard, and at the same time who is in charge of the maintenance of the facility, and who is at the same time collecting rentals from the from the users, because except for students, because if students will be using the facility, they are free. But if there are tourists who will be using the facility, they'll be charged of an amount, no? So that's part. So for sustainability, I'll repeat, make sure that you have a team, you have a core team from the planning phase up to the implementation, project assessment, and so on and so forth, who will always be there. Meaning, establish a team, make sure na there is a document about the team, define ang ilang terms of reference and roles, and so on and so forth. Then, if possible, a policy is needed to ensure funding. No, like what we did in Catbalogan for the Catbalogan City Agro-Industrial School, because students are staying there for 2 years. Now, just imagine the funding needed by the school. More or less, they need 10 to 15 million a year, no, for their subsistence, for their food, for everything, because they are in the facility for 2 years, no. So to ensure sustainability, I pushed for an ordinance in the city government for the continued funding of the project. That's it. And of course, with our partner NGO, I mentioned the Standard Chartered Bank and the PBSP, who really came in for the livelihood component of the project. So imagine na relieve si LGU so funding for our graduates, because supposedly the LGU will finance the project business proposal of the graduate when they get out from the school. This time, si LGU hindi na nag-provide ng capital. It's already the Standard Chartered Bank who came in and took charge of the capital. And sa sustainability, hindi kami nagka-problema kasi yun na naman pag NGO yung partner mo, di ba? Accounted up to the last centavo. So maganda yung implementation, because si estudyante, ang kanya ng partner ngayon, si NGO, doon sa kanyang livelihood project. So accounted yung kanyang na-receive na funding. Then ang support ni Standard Chartered Bank sa recipient, pati sa pag-record ng kanyang cash management, and so on and so forth, nandoon si Standard Chartered Bank. Until after nga nakita na niya na okay na siya, pwede na siyang hayaang magsarili. No? But of course, with the monitoring of DepEd as our partner.
Thank you very much po, sir. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Marmol. So we have the last two questions. So we have, and these questions are somewhat related. So may I just call Mr. Gaudencio Riego from DepEd Antique to state his question directly? Mr. Riego.
Hi, good afternoon, Director Iko, my friend.
Yes, sir.
The question I asked was already answered by Dr. Iko. Same question with Sir Marmol.
So
So you
Ben,
already answered. So thank you so much.
hey Ben,
Happy of your achievement, friend.
please PM me, friend.
Oh yes, friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Merry
Please PM me,
Christmas.
please.
All right, so let's see if we have more questions here. How about we have Mr. Prudential Rubies, also from DepEd NTK. You have a question, sir? Would you like to state directly to Director Echo? Mr. Rubies? All right, I'll just read his question here. It's more it's also asking about the stakeholders. His question was, part of the process in innovation is winning the support of stakeholders and binding them together in common interest. How did you manage their individual interest, not to create conflicts on their biases or personal gains from your innovative project?
Nice question, no?
Yes.
It's true if your partner is an LGU, expect that politics will be there, no? But how are you going to control? How are you going to uh, not depoliticize, but how are you going to manage politics in the program? Uh, a best example again is Catbalogan City Agro because it's funded by the local government unit. No, so how I was able to manage them, get their support. Um, I anchored the project from their agenda of the local government unit. One of their priorities then, actually defined in their plan, is to have food security, achieve food security in the locality. And I asked the mayor, have you or do you have training institutions that will teach your people to produce food? Because food security emanates supposedly from production of food, no? And she told me, I have one, but the focus is for fisheries. They have neglected livestock and crop production and other branches of agriculture. So, okay. So I will study. I will try to study a project that will anchor, that will connect to that specific priority agenda of the city government. And I found out, as ako, DepEd man ako, nakita ko may facility na 16 years na hindi nagamit. That facility was constructed, intended for uh, uh, prisoners. It's actually was jail facility, no? 16 years di nagamit, niluting lahat na nasa loob. Nung makita ko, sabi ko, this is I think a potential facility for an agricultural school, no? That will really help the LGU achieve its goal. Sabi niya, ang daming daming funding ko diyan, sir, sa agriculture. So please help me. So that's my proposal, no? So let us establish an agricultural school that will train your people to produce food, no, to produce livestock, to produce crops, and so on and so forth. But actually, the end goal of the project is not just a simple agricultural school. The end goal of the project is to become a center of agripreneurs in Region 8. Agripreneur, center of agri-entrepreneurs, and incorporating agritourism. That's the end goal of the project. I don't know if it's a fate. I was moved to Bicol in 2018, but up to this time, I am part of the team uh, of the consultants of that project, the local government, because I really want to ensure the sustainability in the achievement of the goal. So, yun, ang school, not just simply to train people of Katbalogan to produce food, but actually the higher goal niya is to become the center of agri-entrepreneurs in the region. I think kung magawa yan, it's the first time in the region for senior high school. Then at the same time, agree to reset.
Okay. That's a very nice to know, Director Echo. So we do hope to see that in the future. So that concludes
We'll
our.
bring you there if you are in Region 8.
Yes, sir, of course.
When we're back to normal. Hey, sorry. For your information, it was featured by CNN last week. The school was featured by CNN, I think last week.
All right, so that concludes our Q&A for the webinar session 2. Okay, just a moment. Okay, there you go. All right, so we express our appreciation again to Director Echo for accepting our invitation and sharing with us his experience and knowledge of innovation in the education sector this afternoon. Deep gratitude as well to our participants who have joined us both at the Google Meet and at the YouTube channel and during this webinar series. May I now request everyone to open their video here at the Google Meet for our class picture. So we also recognize our participants at the YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us today. All right, so open your videos now. Okay, all smiles on your cameras. 1, 2, and 3. All right, let's have another take. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. We still have one more. All smiles. 1, 2, and 3. All right. So thank you very much to our dear participants. So at the end of this session, we would like to remind you to accomplish the feedback form. The link will be flashed on the screen and will be typed at the chat box by our chat box monitors. Your comments and suggestions in the previous session had been duly noted, and they will indeed be helpful for us to bring you quality and relevant interventions in the future. We would also like to inform everybody that we only have 2 sessions under this webinar series, and we will commence the processing of your e-certificates after this session. Please ensure that you have typed in your name and agency at the chat box, and apart from the feedback form that you will be submitting, which will be our means to verify your attendance. Kindly wait for our updates in the succeeding weeks. In behalf of the project team of the DAP Center for Governance Operations Management Office, under the supervision of Director Alvin Principe and Managing Director Imelda Caluin, it has been great hosting you during this webinar series. We hope to see you again in our next webinars and training interventions. Again, thank you for all of your active participation and interest. In advance, Merry Christmas to you all. God bless and stay safe always.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you to the team. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Pero bahala na. Anak, style na po.
Wala siya ni Kim siya ba? Tama. Oo? Dali kayo di ba malalaan ng panoy?
you.